Hey friends, it's Lucas here. Hope you're doing well this fine day. It all comes down to beliefs. You know, I was reminded about that this morning when I was sitting on a master class with one of my favorite mentors, and he was telling a story about how he and I had met. And he was talking about how when we first met, I had a certain set of beliefs. Now, back in 2017 when I met this guy, I did have a very different set of beliefs. See, I had one of the roughest summers of my life. I had left behind the most toxic job I ever had. I mean, literally, I worked at a toxic waste disposal facility, and it was killing me mentally, physically, emotionally. It was just destroying me. It was a soul-destroying job. And I had left that, and I had moved to a different town. I was living in my parents' garage. I had started a landscaping business. I was failing at that. I think in the entire season I might have made $16,000, which wasn't covering my expenses. I was in a bad place. And the worst part was I wasn't really social at that point. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't really reaching out to people. I wasn't participating in life, and my belief about life at that point was that it wasn't worth living. My belief at that point was that life was never going to get any better, and that I was always going to be miserable, and that I was never going to find happiness, and that I would be better off dead. And that's exactly why I found myself at the event where I met this mentor of mine. I was sitting there at this little hotel by the airport in a seminar about public speaking, because I had promised myself that I was going to do whatever I could to get out of the house and get around new people. And the reason I had promised myself that was because I had also promised myself that if I didn't have my life back on track by Christmas time, I was going to kill myself. My belief about life was that it was not worth carrying on, and that it was not worth the effort I needed to put in to feel happy and to do the things I needed to do day after day. And that was my belief, and that belief controlled a lot of my behaviors. And it was ultimately my behaviors that landed me in that situation in the first place. That's all it is anytime you find yourself in a bad situation. It's usually because of the behaviors that you've been doing in your life that led you there. And that was definitely the case for me. Anyway, so I was sitting at this seminar, and throughout the day, my beliefs changed a little bit. I can't pinpoint exactly what it was. It wasn't one particular thing Eric said. It wasn't one particular moment, but I had a lot of fun for the first time in a long time that day, and I met some people, and I started coming out of my shell a little bit, and I realized that I was still capable of enjoying life. I realized that I was still able to have fun. And in that day, at some point, my belief shifted a tiny little bit. On that day, my belief shifted from life is not worth living to life could potentially someday become worth living again. And that was all it took. That was the little thing that pushed me over the edge and made me want to start trying again. And that was the belief that shifted, that led me to taking the action I needed to take. You know, it was that small shift that led me to then go to a Tony Robbins seminar where I learned a little more about personal growth and development. And that shifted my belief a little bit more that yes, life can in fact get better. And then that led me to take more action and more action and more action. And over the last 3 years, my life is completely unrecognizable. You know, my business has grown almost 10 times what it was back then. I have employees now. I'm working for an amazing company doing speaker training, which I never thought was possible. My speaking career has blossomed, and all this incredible stuff has happened for me. And none of it would have happened if it wasn't for that little shift in belief. None of it would have happened if I didn't believe it was possible for it to happen. And that's where it all starts. You know, one of the problems with being depressed, one of the worst parts about it is that it can be so freaking hard to realize that life can get better. It can be so incredibly difficult to believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I know, I've been there. It's a desperate feeling. But if you can shift your belief the tiniest little bit, if you can shift your belief from thinking that all is hopeless to even there might be the tiniest little fraction of a % of reason that it's hopeful and worthwhile, hang on to that, because that might be the little tiny shift that you need to motivate you to take the next step that you need to take to have that little shift again and again and again and again, and that might be the first step on your road to pulling yourself out. It was for me. And it's so incredibly powerful, because your beliefs control your actions, and your actions control your results, and your results are the evidence you need, and your beliefs about the world feed on the evidence from the world around you. So if you're starting to get good results, your belief that life is not going to get better will get less, and your belief that life could be better will grow. And opportunities will change, and your mindset will change, and your attitude will change, and you'll start to feel better. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it all starts with just the belief that everything is going to be okay. You know, I was accused this spring by somebody very close to me of being too positive. You know, she said, "You're blindly optimistic," and that bothers me. And the thing is, I'm not blindly optimistic. I'm actually very pessimistic most of the time. But I also understand how important it is to believe that everything is going to work out. So sometimes, even if I can't see a way that it's going to work out, or if I can't really truly believe it in my heart, I have to just tell myself, and I have to allow myself that little tiny fraction of a belief that it's going to work. Because sometimes it's all you got, and sometimes it's all it takes. So I hope this has been beneficial for you. I think it's super, super important. Whatever it is you want out of life, whatever it is you want for a result, whatever you want in anything, you have to believe that it's possible, so that your body and your mind will align and take the action that needs to be taken to make it happen. This really is one of the most important keys to success in life and happiness and all of that. So I hope it's beneficial to you. I hope you can use something that I've said here. I hope the wind noise in the background hasn't been too bad. And I hope you're having a great day. I'll speak to you again soon.